Today's discussion focuses on a very interesting law called Levirate. The question that prompted the discussion reads: I am Catholic. I am married with 2 kids. My junior brother died a suicidal death. The elders in the village are now pressuring me to marry his wife. I am a Christian and cannot have more than one wife. I don't want to commit sin. What do you say? Okay, let's go to the solution. Solution. Uh, let's start with the discussing the suicide death committed by the questioner's junior brother. People should not be taking their lives. Wait for the Lord to call you home. Don't be in a hurry to go. If God wants us to come home earlier, it will be written in the Bible how to do so. This will be in the Bible how to do so. Nevertheless, many people kill themselves in the Bible, and these are just some of them. Judges 16:28. Samson prayed for strength one last time to destroy the Philistines, causing the temple pillar to collapse on himself and thousands of his enemies killed, more at his death than during his life. He wanted to kill himself, so he did it to kill himself with the thousands by bringing down the pillar that hold the temple. Matthew 27:3-10. In the New Testament, Judas Iscariot, after betraying Jesus, was overcome with remorse and guilt. He was overwhelmed with that guilt, and threw the silver coins back to those who gave him the silver, and then go and hang himself. Second Samuel 17:23. Ahithophel, after realizing that his advice had been rejected in favor of another counselor during Absalom rebellion, saddled his donkey, returned to his hometown, set his affair in order, and hanged himself out of pride. Because Ahithophel is a very clever man. All the kings, when he says something, they stand on what he said and take what he says. But this time, he was rejected by Absalom, and they took another counselor. They took another counselor's advice. The counselor that David himself planted there just to disable them. And he went and killed himself out of pride. First Kings 16:18. Zimri, when the city he ruled, he was a king, he ruled a city that was captured. He chose to commit suicide by burning the palace down over himself rather than to be taken as prisoner. Instead of to be taken as prisoner, he burned the palace down with himself. These are just some. There are many. See, and the Bible is silent on the fate of these people that took their life. What is their fate? Where do they go? The Bible is silent about it. And Christians are divided on whether suicide is a sin or not. especially in the Protestant world and non-denominational world. They are divided whether it's a sin, and they are interpreting it any way they like. For the Catholic, the tradition that focuses, their tradition focuses its doctrine on holiness. And the Anglican tradition, it is a no-no. It is a no-no. Suicide is a no-no because they see it as taking a life, which is a sin. They look at it as a sin. While Protestant and non-denomination interpret in many ways. Because the Bible did not say that. If you want to come home early, kill yourself. No, it's not in the Bible. People should not be taking their life. If anyone is out there having suicidal thought, please seek immediate professional help. Seek immediate professional help. A special spiritual. Come to God, let God talk to you. Talk to God and let God talk to you. That's about suicide. Now let's discuss the levirate that the questioner wants to know. Continents that practice levirate marriage are Asia, Africa, Middle East, and part of South America. Practice levirate law. I'm expecting this questioner must come from one of these continents, either Asia, Africa, Middle East, or part of South America. I'm expecting that's where this questioner, one of these continents from. Narrating levirate marriage. What is levirate marriage? Let's discuss it. Levirate is a Latin word that means husband's brother or brother-in-law. The levirate law is both biblical, and it's cultural. It's cultural and it's biblical. It requires a man to marry his deceased brother's widow. That is the law. To raise an heir in the deceased man's name, thereby preserving his lineage and inheritance within the family and ensuring the widow's support. Levirate law does not bend for a marriage or age difference. So if the brother is old or is young, it doesn't matter. Or he has many wives, it doesn't matter. You can go and add to the wife. Now, actually, levirate marriage is less common now. I mean, we are in the 21st century. It's less common now in many countries that practice levirate law. It's common. It's less common. It used to be very, very, strict, but now it's less common. Where the both nowadays, the man and the woman have to agree for the marriage to take place. If the woman said, "I am not going to marry that's my husband's brother," you can't force her. And if the man said no, you can't force him. That's why it's less common now. But in some places, they have no choice than to take in the woman. If any of them say no, marriage will not take place. In some countries, they have no choice but to comply with the levirate law. Since your family elders are putting pressure on you to comply, it seems you have no choice here. Some of the levirate marriages found in the Bible are Deuteronomy 25, 5-10. If brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. her husband's brother shall go in to her, take her as his wife, and perform the duty of the husband's brother towards her. It's a law. It's a law. You see, it's a law. Numbers 36:7. No inheritance in Israel is to pass from one tribe to another. Every Israelite should keep the tribal inheritance of their ancestors. This is to do with the next one, which is root. Root for 1 to 22. That verse is to do with this. Then Boaz said, told the person that's supposed to marry Ruth, the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi, you also required Ruth. The more you also acquire, you will acquire Ruth, which means you will marry Ruth, the Moabite, the widow of the dead, to perpetuate the name of the dead in his inheritance. That is a law. So that next man said no. So Boaz is the next man, next of kin. He then married Ruth. Genesis 38:6-8. Judah, one of Jacob's son, has three sons. He got a wife for his first son, and the name of the wife is Tamar. He got for his first son. But his first son, Er, Judah's first son, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, that's the second son, sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother-in-law to raise offspring of for your brother. So the second son went and married her. He did evil too in the sight of God. God took her. So the third son, the last son, he has three sons. The last son was not yet to the age of marriage. So Judah told Tamar, which is the wife of the sons, stay until my son grow to a marriage stage. You see, she has to wait for him to grow up. The law, she has to wait for her to grow up to the age of marriage. But when he grew up to the marriage, Judah didn't give her the third son. He was afraid that the third son will die also. We know what happened with the Judah and Tamar. Now, Levirate law is not a sin. It's a law. How can it be a sin? We just read the Bible. It's a law. But polygamy is a bad decision. It's a bad decision. It is polygamy. It is not something one can wish their worst enemy because of the many problems surrounding polygamy. There are many problems. You don't want to you don't want to involve yourself with polygamy. You don't want to come from that family. Still, it is not a sin. Polygamy is not a sin. From creation, God created a perfect monogamous marriage in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, so people can follow. But God knew that people will marry more than one wife. God knew. We see this throughout the whole Bible, beginning with Lamech, the descendant of Cain, who was the first man to marry two wives. Genesis 4:19. Lamech married two women, one named Ada and the other named Zillah. He's the first person to marry, and that's Cain's. See how far it started from Cain, Cain's son. All throughout the Bible. Genesis 16:21, Abraham married Sarah and Hagar. Genesis 29:30, Jacob married Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, Zilpah. Genesis 26:28, Esau married Judith, Basemath, and Mahalat. Judge 8:30, Gideon married many wives, many. After Solomon, I think he's the next one. Many wives, and he's a judge. 1 Samuel 1-2, Elkanah, the father of Prophet Samuel, had two wives, Hannah and Peninnah. In 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, all the kings except Saul had more than one wife. All the kings had more than one wife except Saul. All the biblical kings and judges had multiple wives except Judge Othniel and King Solomon. So marrying, God knows that they will marry more than one wife, and it's not counted to them as a sin. They deal with the problem that is surrounding polygamy. They deal with it. These kings all have numerous wives. They have numerous. There is a law against king having many wives. There's a law against king having. Yet they all have more than one wives. See, well, let's read this Bible. Deuteronomy 17:14-7. When you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you, and have taken possession of it, and settle in it, and say, let us set a king over us, like all nation around the world. Be sure to appoint over you a king the Lord your God chooses. He must be from your fellow Israelites. Do not place a foreigner over you who is not an Israelite. The king, moreover, must not acquire significant numbers of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt to get more of them. For the Lord has told you, you are not to go back there anymore. The king must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray. There's a law here given to them. But all the kings has more than one wife. Okay. The kings did not go against the Bible, because this Bible is saying that they should not have many wives. What number is many here? Which means the king can have more than one wife, but not many. That's what this Bible is saying. They must not take many wives. So what number is given as many? We know Solomon definitely is many. Gideon is many. So they can have more than one wife. Maybe 2, 3, and that's it. Many, we don't know what number is many. And he must not accumulate large amount of silver and gold. But they all did. But the accumulation of the kings here, accumulating gold and silver, are for the temple. Are for the temple. Okay, let's go. In this era, polygamy is not a sin. It's not a sin. We can see it in the Bible. If it's a sin, how all these people that married more than one. In fact, the Bible says they should not have many wives, which means they can marry more than one wife. In this era, polygamy is not a sin. Polygamy is more of a crime, depending on the country in which one lives. That's why we say, of course, the advanced world. That's why the advanced world, people should look to them and follow their pattern. They put that as a law. If not the law in advanced world, people in advanced world will be having more than one wife. They will. That's why that law is there. You cannot have more than one wife at the same time. So they don't practice polygamy, they practice monogamy. People live by the law of the country. So it depends on the country where you live by the law of that country. For example, if you live in a country that practices monogamy, then see polygamy as a crime. Has it? God knows. He knows that people will marry more than one wife. So what did our Lord God do? He handpicked. Look at God handpicked some people and said, "You must be a husband of one wife." He handpicked them. So those people, if they do more than one wife, no matter where they live, you may be in a country where their culture there is to marry thousands of wives. You have to stay with one wife. Because if you do more than one, you have committed sin. Because God mentioned you here and said, be a husband of one wife. God handpicked them because of what is going on. He knows what will be happening. And God handpicked some people and commanded them to be husband of one wife, one woman, man, emphasizing faithfulness, and that is monogamy and loyalty to their wives. This qualification highlight marital fidelity as a key character trait of leadership, meaning that a man should be devoted to only one woman and demonstrate good conduct within marriage. This applies to any member with a title in a church or ministry of God. If you have a title in any organization that is a ministry of God or a church, if you have a title there, you must be a husband of one wife. No matter where you live, you may be in a country where polygamy is practiced. You can no. Other people may be practicing, but you no. Timothy 3:2. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach. What? The husband of one wife. Sober-minded, self-control, respectable, hospitable, and able to teach. Husband of one wife. Titus 1:5-8. For this cause left I thee in great, that you should set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain, he said, ordain elders in every city, as I had appointed thee. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accursed or riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of God, not self-will, not soon angry, not given to wine, nor striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate. Let deacons, in Timothy 3:12, let deacons each be the husband of one wife, managing their children and their household well. These are few I could pick up. But if you have any title in the church, any organization set up for a ministry of God, if you have a title there, you are a husband of one wife. Those people, if they marry more than one, then they have sin. But polygamy is not a sin, except for these people mentioned here. So if you have any title in a church or in a ministry, be the husband of one wife. If you are not, you don't have any title, you just go to church, then the choice is yours. If you are Protestant or non-denominational. We can do it because they interpret anything they like. But don't for Catholic. You say that you are Catholic. Watch the holiness that Catholic practice. You say that you are questioner. You say that you are Catholic. Do you know that Catholic doctrine focus on holy life and strictly practice and teach exclusive lifelong monogamy as the only valid form of marriage? That's the only valid form of marriage in Catholic, monogamy. And it's only death that can break it, not divorce. Divorce can't break it. If you are Catholic, you can't divorce. It's only death that can break it. You married for life, only death. So when you went to that altar, until death do us part, you will keep that thing. People say until death do us part, and the next year they all divorce. Nobody died, none of them die, and they are divorcing. I thought you said in the altar until death do you part. So why are you divorcing? They didn't die. Yeah. Catholic, it's only you cannot divorce. It's only death that can break it. Catholic view monogamy as a unique, indissoluble, holy sacrament between husband and wife. They consider polygamy a grave offense against natural and divine law. Questioner, there are a recent document, Vatican document, called Una Caro. Una Caro. It's called Una Caro. It's a recent document from Vatican. This document reaffirms that marital love must be undivided, unshakable, and exclusive, rejecting polygamy and polyamory as contrary to this idea. Look for that, search for that document. You will see it. With this as the Catholic faith, you must remain the husband of one wife. You cannot take that Levirate marriage they are forcing you to, because you are Catholic. Let the elders in your family know that you are Catholic. Once you tell them you are Catholic, they know that Catholic keeps to their word. They follow their doctrines. If you are Protestant or non-denominational, they will tell you, because of not straightforward thing doctrine they follow. But if once you tell them you are Catholic, they know. They know that Catholic is strict, and that the doctrine of Catholic Church will not allow you to marry more than one wife. They will understand. But if you were not married, I will have encouraged you to comply with the levirate marriage, as it serves the interest of the young widow, to help the young widow. But you are married, so let them know. They can, let her find another husband. You can disobey God. You keep to your doctrine. I want you to supplement this solution by visiting my channel www.youtube.com/@word-in-spire 7772. Click on my picture and select the video titled "This is why polygamy exists today." It's an interesting discussion. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Bible there. Enjoy the Word of God there. This is why polygamy exists today. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this question. Viewers, please stay tuned for the next topic coming up soon.